The beads on the right means you are a royal, you are a chief, because of the beads on the right. People wear it for fancy, but on the right, it means something. Fancy must be on the left. On the left.
It's the month of March, and as you very well know, March is usually the month we call Ghana Month. And what better way to be able to share in the Ghana Month euphoria than to bring you some good stories about the history or the foundations of this very country. My name is Eche Atisu. Welcome to this Ghana Month series here on GhanaWeb TV. I have a conversation with an octogenarian. He's well past the age of 80 years, 81 for that matter. And that tells you that we're going to hear some rich stories about Ghana and maybe to confirm or not some of the things you know about the stories about this country, and maybe also to give us some insights into other aspects of the Ghana story we've not heard before. Ni Ashite Bruku is a retired HR. He's also an elder of the Stool of Teshi. My guest is the 81-year-old Ni Ashite Bruku. Daddy, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Better than other people's lot.
We thank God. You look really, I should say you look really good at 81.
I try to make myself look smart and sharp.
Maybe I'd come to you for some little tips as to how to
It's
look
a
this
pleasure.
good.
It's a joy to live long.
Yes, and we're here to have a conversation with you. I know it's Ghana Month. I want to hear some stories. Your side of the story of Ghana that we've not perhaps maybe heard in the media, and I want us to begin from there. I want to start first of all. I see you have some beads on your hands. I am wearing beads as well. I don't know if I'm wearing the right beads. Would you want to give us some insight into, because you are a traditional person, you are from the Stool of Teshi.
Yes.
Would you help us, first of all, some education on things like this that represent our Ghanaianness?
Quite a pleasure. I recall that several years back, I attended a program at the University of Ghana, and I saw a young man wearing 3 beads on the right wrist. Then I called him and said, "Young man, how can you be wearing 3 beads on your right wrist? Do you understand what it means?" He said, "Oh no. But he's trying to connect with his ancestors."
Okay.
Trying to connect with his ancestors. As soon as he said that, I said, "It's all right. If you're trying to connect with your ancestors, then let's leave it there. Go ahead." He begged me if he could remove it. I said, no. Once you are connecting with your ancestors, I understand a lot of things, many things. So it's a very strong, deep meaning to the statement he made. So I let him. Yeah. But you don't wear them for nothing. To wear the wreath on the right, the beads on the right, means you are a royal.
Okay.
You are a chief. You are a jasehini. You are stool elder, a principal elder. Any of these and many more positions.
At least you should be in some leadership,
Exactly.
traditional framework.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so whenever you attend any program, you are accorded the right position. Nana, this is your position. Ni, this is your position. They are called because of the beads on the right. Now, people wear it for fancy, but on the right, it means something. Okay. Fancy must be
on the left.
On the left. Fancy. So This is the meaning. Otherwise, people will challenge you and question you all the time.
Okay, that's quite interesting. I'm not a royal, by the way, and I like you've said, I love to just wear beads first of all. So I'm sure from today, yes, just to look traditional. Maybe from today I'll be more careful with where I put my beads on my hands. But that brings us to
Don't worry, nobody will arrest you.
at least that's some comforting one. Anyway, there's a pre-independence story, but we want to focus more on the stories from Ghana's independence up to this time. You have lived through different phases of our country, of our governance, of our traditional environment. I want us to begin from there. The 1957 story of Ghana's independence. What's your side of the story? How was the experience for you? Like, what was your age? What were you doing at the time? How did you receive that story of Ghana's independence at the time?
It didn't stir me up. It didn't do anything. A schoolboy, 11-year-old or whatever, between 9 and 11 years. What did I care about independence? What's all this noise going on? We went to Gendu Park at Sekendi. I was born at Sekendi, though I come from Teshi. We went to march. Well, after that, things went on as normal. But if anything, I recall my life from 1958, thereabouts, when my father was transferred back to Accra, and my first encounter with Kwame Nkrumah began.
Okay, you had encounters with Nkrumah.
We lived very close behind Kwame Nkrumah. Just behind Kwame.
At the time he was president?
Yes.
That
No,
means
no. It was then, and then, what was the title?
But Ghana had gained independence
No.
at the time.
At 58 years, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Leader of government business.
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
And we lived behind Kwame Nkrumah. These were my first encounters with him. We, as children, didn't know who he was, but we knew there was a big man living close by, but we didn't know who he was. He was always in white.
Political.
There was a bush behind his back, and we went hunting Bela. You know Bela?
Rats.
And we put the bush rats. We put fire to the bush, and it began to burn, and the wind blew towards Kwame's house. We didn't know him, but then we were trying to douse out the fire when he appeared with his lone bodyguard policeman. Hey boys, what are you doing? Oh, we are trying to hunt Bela. And he queried us. This is not the way to hunt Bela. You hunt Bela with clubs and sticks and not with fire. Otherwise, you burn somebody's house. Don't do that again, yeah? Yes, sir. Then Kwame turned and went away.
That was all.
That was all. We were children, about 10 years old. So. Then, having burnt the place, we turned into a football park and began to play ball there. And when the ball flies into Kwame's house, we would climb the wall into his house. Hey boys, are you armed robbers? Are you armed robbers? No, sir. Then don't climb my wall again. If your ball flies into the house, go. Yes, use the gate. That was Kwame Nkrumah. We didn't know him, but the man loved children. There was a mango tree in his house, the middle of the house. We would climb the wall and go. He would warn us. Don't be called thieves. Don't be called thieves. Go to the front gate, ask the policeman, and he will let you in. But this, so the lighter side of it.
You said he had a lone bodyguard.
That's all.
He didn't have any more than
That's all. A lone policeman.
Must be at the time I could say he was a head of state. He was the
Yes,
president.
He was the leader of a government
Business, and he had just one bodyguard.
Yes.
Of course, there were other people in the house helping with other things, but when it came to security, that was all he had.
That's all. That's all. Yeah. Then one evening, at bedtime, we heard a loud noise. Boom! Well, children, what did we care about loud noises? We went to sleep, but in the morning when we got up, we learned that an assassination attempt had been made on Kwame Nkrumah.
Ooh.
That bomb, that noise, meant there was a bomb attack on his life. And we all trooped to go and look at the scene. And there was a gaping hole, big hole, in the room where he would have slept. But that night, I guess Kwame went for an washing or something.
He wasn't in.
He didn't sleep in it.
So you mean the very spot he would have been sleeping in was where the bomb was?
Yes. So, well, life went on as usual. But after that, things changed. After
With security and everything.
we didn't see our famous man again until much, much later. My father's job sent him round.
What job did your father do?
Broadcasting.
Okay.
He was responsible for the establishment of relay stations all over the country. So we're on the move every 2 years. And so we moved on. But we came back again when we didn't see Kwame Nkrumah. He had then been sent to the Flagstaff house. The Flagstaff house had been built for him. Okay. We went round, and came back again. This time, we lived at Kanda.
That's also just behind.
Yes, Kwame Nkrumah, also behind Kwame Nkrumah.
It was as if your life was
linked.
Okay. The earlier place was where? Where was that?
Accra, Newtown.
Okay, that was the first place.
And that house he lived in, Kwame Nkrumah's first house, is still there. And if Ghanaians were some people who remember their heroes, they would have turned, or they should have turned that house into a museum.
I think maybe we should go look for that place.
It's there. It's there. A brick house, red brick house. It's there now. They should have turned the place into a museum by now. But we have no regard and respect and honor for our heroes. No, not Ghana. It's not worth dying for Ghana.
You think that we've not done enough for perhaps for someone like Nkrumah in cementing his heritage and all that he stood for? Should that have been an addition to the several things, or is it that we've not done enough?
Brother, I laugh, I smile, because I don't know what words to use to answer your question. But it's a pain, the dishonor we have done Kwame Nkrumah. It's a pain. Those of us who saw him and benefited from his largesse. But let me continue with that story.
So now you are in Kanda. Nkrumah is at the Flagstaff house. You are still very close.
Very close. One Saturday morning, if you know Kanda very well, Flagstaff house separated the bungalows from
Residential.
No. Oh.
So there's Kanda, which is behind the Flagstaff house. Then the main road.
Okay. The Flagstaff house. And this place where they used to have Air Force pilots, yes.
Oh.
Air Force pilots.
Okay.
The French embassy.
Yes.
The French embassy.
Just opposite TV3.
Yes. All that area had Air Force pilots' residence. And I had a classmate whose senior brother, was an Air Force pilot. One Saturday morning, I had come out of our place, Kanda, to go to my friend. I'll pass Flagstaff House and then go to the Air Force pilot's residence. My classmate's senior brother was an Air Force pilot. And just as we got there, he asked us to go and call the daughter who had gone to see a procession of CPP faithfuls in the procession to the Flagstaff House. Just as we got to the street or roadside to call the girl, a bomb exploded.
That's the second time.
A bomb exploded. And you can guess what happened afterwards. These are my little encounters with Kwame Nkrumah.
Did you eventually get to meet him again after the Newtown times? Did you meet him?
For a while, we went to his house to pluck mangoes and so on and so on.
So when he moved to the Flagstaff house, that was it. You never got to
at all
counter him again.
At all.
But of course, you lived through his time until '66 when the coup happened. All right, I want us to hold it for a bit. When we return from the break, we'll get into more of the stories of Ghana's history. We've heard a little about the Kwame Nkrumah bit until the 60s, early 60s. We'll catch on from there right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to this Ghana Man series here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Eche Atiso. I'm here with Ni Ashite Bruku. He is an elder of the Stool of Teshi. Ni, so we were talking about the Kwame Nkrumah story, but Nkrumah was overthrown. You were in Ghana at the time when this happened.
Yes.
How did it happen? Where were you? What did you hear about the overthrow?
I was a schoolboy. I was still in school.
Okay.
I was in secondary school.
Which secondary school was that?
St. John's,
Okay.
Atachimota.
Okay.
What happened was unbelievable. What happened was unbelievable. But let me say that, young as I was, or we were, we doubted what could have prompted an overthrow. However, when we began to grow up and became more learning, we understood what was happening.
So what was happening?
Because I'll go back a bit. There was another bomb attempt or assassination attempt on Kwame Nkrumah by a plot, we're told, by R.R. Ramponsan.
Yeah.
You know R.R. Ramponsan?
Yes.
And Benjamin Awaite, and one other chap whose name always escapes me. All these attempts were made on Kwame Nkrumah. And there was an assassination attempt on him when he was flying to India. It was after his trip to India that the PDA, the Preventive Detention Act, came into. You asked the question, how the coup. I'll tell you a story. There's a lady who was the daughter of the ambassador of Liberia to Ghana. Something Miata Fambule.
That was her name?
That was a lady's name, the daughter of the ambassador to Niata Fambule. According to her, when the coup happened, and they, Liberians, were crying, Ghanaians were jubilating. Do you understand that?
It was the value of the person Nkrumah was that was lost on us.
Yes. Niata Fambule said, whilst the Liberians were crying,
Ghanaians were jubilating.
Ghanaians were jubilating.
Which is the stories we've heard about how people went onto the streets, were jubilating, were pulling down statues, were destroying things. That was the same experience you saw?
Yes, and worse.
And worse?
Kwame Nkrumah's followers were arrested. When they cried that there was Preventive Detention Act, that Kwame Nkrumah arrested people, I'll come to that. Arrested people left and right. They, when they took power, didn't only arrest left, right, they added center to it. They arrested left, right, center, front, and back.
It was all over.
So it's all over. So, one of the things that we at the time didn't understand was some of the books he wrote, Dark Days in Ghana. Today, they are being manifested.
True manifestations.
Dark Days in Ghana. It's in one of my write-ups. Unfortunately, there's no time to talk about it. But when Kwame Nkrumah was deposed, and he and his security men were exiled in Conakry, something happened. I happened to have a friend who was one of his security men, called Mr. Dakum. I don't know if he's still alive. The man is a struggler like me. And so we made friends naturally. And he told me this story, that one day when they were in Conakry, and they were playing table tennis on the lawn, Kwame Nkrumah descended from upstairs and asked them, young men, why do you think our government was overthrown? Why? We're giving free education, free medical care, hospitals, this, that. So why do you think? Then the security men answered that, Kwame, Master, they said you were arresting people left, right, and center. And you were giving some of the people, throwing some of the people to your lions in the zoo, in your zoo. Then Kwame said, my friend said, Kwame laughed. And what did Kwame do? He opened his shirt and opened his shirt, removed his shirt, and turned his back
to them.
To them. What did you expect to see? Lacerations and scars from bomb attacks on his life, on his Kwame Nkrumah's life. For what? Because he's providing free education, free medical care, hospital roads. Well. Then my friend said, Kwame asked them, you guys here, you tell me, which one of you will give testimonials, will give a bouquet of flowers to a bomb thrower when you send your child to school and your child comes back home with one arm off, one leg off, then say, oh, Mr. Bomb Thrower, congratulations, you maimed my child. You made my child handicapped. Thank you. Then you give the bouquet to the bomb thrower. Will you do that? According to my friend, They couldn't answer the question. They bowed their heads. Kwame also bowed down his head, and he climbed up.
That means Nkrumah must have been reflecting on a lot of the things that happened to have come down to ask them those questions.
Yes, because we went to school free, and
What was the experience like, especially after Nkrumah was overthrown? Did you still have free things?
It was Buzia, I remember, who cancelled free education, who cancelled meals and whatnot at the university. Go and ask those of my age, my peers. You go to school, you go to the cafeteria, the canteen.
You just serve food.
Yes. You have what we call appetizers, then the main meal, then what dessert.
Meanwhile, today there's schools that are on the brink of closure because food is not even available. The situation was way better then. We could have had Nkrumah longer than we did. You believe so?
The man should have been allowed a few more years. But there's something serious that I cannot see. There are a group of persons in this country who think that if they are not in power, then nobody should be in power. If it's not them, then it must be nobody. When Kwame was living, when he was overthrown, he left behind 300 physical factories. 300, dotted all over the country.
Many of them are non-existent today.
There are things that I saw, and I still saw them, they are all closed down. They are all closed down. In one of my write-ups, I said, Kwame, I had gone to him on his birthday. Kwame, how are you? Etc. So my son, I'm fine, sit down. So Kwame, before I came here, I passed the road which used to have Lever Brothers and its subsidiary that produced Bedford trucks. Bedford trucks. And on the same road was GTMC that produced khaki uniforms for schools, and then Paints Corporation that produced Ghana paint. The Bedford truck factory has closed down, Paints Corporation has closed down, GTMC has closed down. But interestingly, a paint factory owned by a foreigner is still working. The one owned by Ghanaians is dead and gone. You think that is good for us?
I don't believe so.
You are going to be the beneficiaries of all that happened in 1966, and you are seriously reaping it. I have about 10 more years to live and knock off.
Many people say that Nkrumah was a visionary. There were things he did that no other leader actually had the foresight for, the kinds of things he did. Are there any such examples that you recollect of things that he instituted or worked on that today are the bedrocks of every other thing that we have? Maybe certain sectors. Maybe let's start from an area like health.
That's good. That was what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
But before then, let's share this story. My parents settled here in Tema, 1958. And one was not allowed to rear even a fowl. A fowl. You were not allowed to rear a fowl.
In these areas?
In Tema. in Tema.
That's interesting.
Today, there are cows roaming the streets of Tema.
Very normal.
Normal?
Very normal these days.
Ah, okay. I understand you. The Tema, which Kwame Nkrumah used to boast of. Queen Elizabeth, when he visited Ghana after independence, was brought to Tema. President Tito of Yugoslavia was brought to Tema to come and see that the African is also capable of doing what the white man can do. Tema was a beauty. Tema was a beauty. Today, cows are roaming the streets of Tema morning, noon, and night.
What's the story about the health sector you wanted to share with us? Nkrumah's initiatives, his groundbreaking achievements in that area.
This story I heard from the late Kojo Boatio,
the former health
education minister of Kwame Nkrumah. I heard it live.
Boatio was your friend?
No. Boatio couldn't have been my friend. Boatio.
So it was something you heard in the media?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
But it's interesting. I'm talking about something that happened in the 1970s or so, that Boatio was interviewed and said on television that according to him, one day Kwame Nkrumah called him and said, Kojo, I want a medical school established. A medical school? Master, we don't. He became a stammerer at once. Master, we don't have anything. We don't have schools. We don't have lecture halls. We don't have lecturers. We don't have professors. We don't have anything. Then Kojo Boatio said, Kwame Nkrumah responded, I don't care, Kojo. Kojo, I don't care. I don't care if you have to start under a mango tree. I, Kwame Nkrumah, I say I want a medical school. And there we are. More than one medical school at Kolebu. So he added, go and tell Professor Ismon. Go and tell, you know Professor
At the University of Ghana?
Yes.
Who was dean?
The dean of the medical school. Go and tell Professor Ismon, I, Kwame Nkrumah, I say I want a medical school. And then we are many more than one medical school. This is a visionary. This is a visionary. Someone who leads far. Look, there are certain things we can't say easily, but the man was ahead of his time. And for some of us who have some spiritual whatever, we understand him. He was far ahead of us.
Nkrumah is only one aspect of the whole Ghana history and Ghana story. And I want us to bring this part of this Ghana Man series to a pause. And then the next time we return, we would talk more about all the other leaders that have come along the way. So my guest is Ni Ashitbruku. He's an elder of the Stool of Teshi. He's a retired HR person, someone who had some really close encounters with Kwame Nkrumah, lived through the years that Ghana has been independent till now. But that's it for this first part. When we return for the next part, we'll go more into the other stories of some of the other leaders that have led this country. My name once again is Echi Atiso, and this has been a Ghana Man series.